Well, if you know me from previous session, I'll give a quick introduction. So my name is Chris Van Ittersum. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Supply Mover. We've been in business for about 10, 11 years now doing what we do. And I've been in this trade and several of my colleagues have been in this trade for about 25 years working in distribution. The reason that we got into doing what we do is back in the day when I was growing up in the distribution industry, we had a lot of systems that were a little less than ideal, let's say, right? So green screen systems, systems that look a lot like Windows forms from like the late 90s. You wish you could do more with them, but kind of stuck with some certain things. So my team and I, we got really good at wrapping around these systems and creating custom solutions because we were forced to. We had to move at the speed of business, right? And in doing so, we created some CRM solutions, we created some e-commerce solutions, and we ended up developing these large kind of business enterprise suites outside of the ERP and kind of connecting everything together. So that's what we became known for. In doing all of that, we ended up developing integrations with a lot of different products. So we have integrations with dozens of ERPs, dozens of CRMs, dozens of e-commerce solutions, dozens of merchant partners. When we work with our customers, and I'm gonna try not to have this be a complete shameless plug, but for several years now I come here and we just talk about solutions, and that's fine. But I want to tell you a little bit about what's going on with us right now. We got really good at doing integration work and becoming kind of like the mothership for where customers can go and see things like advanced analytics and dashboards and those sort of things. This year, we're really excited about a new feature that we're bringing out because it is a feature that's kind of all the rage. If you're looking for voice AI, the challenge with voice AI is it's very complex. And it's very complex when it comes to integrating with your data. That's where you run into a lot of the big challenge. There are a lot of vendors that do voice AI. And you can get with someone that does voice AI, and then you'll have to basically come up with all the different use cases that you want to put in place. And what ends up happening is you end up, by my definition, reinventing the wheel to some extent, okay? So what is this thing that we're calling voice AI? What's the whole point of it? I want you to think about the use cases for this in a different way than you might have thought before, because you're thinking about last year's AI, the one that sounds terrible, that no one would ever want to have a conversation with because it's, I just want to get to a person immediately. They've gotten quite good. I'm going to give you a couple of examples today. And I'm happy to get with you guys after and give you some more direct examples. This is the kind of AI that not only will take a call, so it will take calls from customers, it will help with things like returns, it'll help with things like order lookups, it'll help with payment processing. It can do anything that your data is connected to, okay? It can also make outbound calls, and this is where it gets pretty crazy. You can do things like reorder reminders. You can do stock check things. You can do order status confirmations. You can do customer reactivations. You can make special promotional offers to customers. We have customers that are using this right now. One of the customers using this is actually doing calls with this to cold leads. In our country, it is illegal to call individuals who are at their residences with this type of technology, but it's not illegal to call businesses. So there's a little carve out, which is a nice little carve out for those of us that are in the business of reaching out to our customers. And what that allows us to do is we can have an agent making hundreds of calls a day, and we can have our sales team being focused on those agents where there's a follow-up needed because somebody's actually interested. Most of the time, and I was in the early part of my career when I was first kind of coming up in computer science, I did a couple of sales jobs for a couple of years, and I was in telemarketing for a little while. I did the job, and I can tell you that the statistics about how much time you spend on leaving messages, on just doing the basics on writing notes and different things like that within the CRM, all of that is a complete waste of time, right? So there's a couple of other vendors here that do some CRM solutions, and the biggest claim to fame right now is, hook it to the phone system so that we can just transcribe the calls and you don't have to leave the note. Okay, that's great. That's a great functionality. We have that functionality too, but it's not really leveling up, your team. What I would like to see if I'm running a sales team, and I focus on sales, but this is applicable for purchasing teams, it's applicable for AR. You can have this thing calling your customers to do payments on things that they're behind on. You can have them calling at 31 days or at 35 days or at 44 days or whatever you got it set up for a payment reminder. It can negotiate and get them to make partial payments. So this is a technology that you can really leverage to do when you really start thinking about it. So what can it not do? It's only the things that you don't have data for or you don't know how to explain, right? So the really nice benefit to it as well is it doesn't stop and it scales purely based on the service. It's like a utility. So a couple of use cases that I've already kind of covered, but I really want you to get your head outside of the realm of where you're thinking this is only for very basic purposes. You can literally use this for just about anything. Okay. All right, so I'm going to jump over to, kind of covered all this already. So what I want to do is a little demo. We built a little tool that allows me to demonstrate what this does. And so what the tool does, this is actually our voice agent that our company uses to answer the phone. And you can use another voice agent just like these. You can customize them. We actually do those kind of customizations as well. Our voice agent takes calls, but it also helps demonstrate our own product. Okay, so I'm going to give you kind of a taste of what it's capable of, and maybe we'll try and take it off script and see where we crash and burn.
Thanks for calling Supply Mover. This is Sam speaking. I can help you with our products, or if you'd like to try out our agentic agents in action, just ask to talk to me as a salesperson or as a customer. Before we jump into that, can we start with your name and which company you work for?
Yeah, Sam, I'm Chris at ABC Widgets.
Nice to meet you, Chris. Do you want to learn more about Supply Mover, or would you like to try out salesperson features or customer features of our agentic AI voice assistant?
I've been hearing about this thing. I want to try the salesperson features.
Great. The purpose here is to simulate interactions between users of the system, like salespeople. What would you like to start with? Maybe leaving a note on a client account or looking up customer information?
Actually, what I want to do is I'm in the field right now today, and I got about 20 minutes extra time. I'm on the southeast side of Chicago. I'm wondering if there's an account I can stop in at and say hello while I'm in the area.
Let's do a customer information lookup. Could you give me the client's name, address, or city/state or client number that you're referring to on the southeast side of Chicago?
Listen, just give me something, anything in that area. I don't know who I can stop in at. Is there anyone that's assigned to me? Just give me someone in that area. That'd be great.
All right, I've got a customer for you on the southeast side of Chicago. The client's name is King Industrial Supplies, located on East 79th Street in Chicago, Illinois. They are already a managed customer assigned to you. Would you like a quick summary of opportunities at the account?
Yeah, tell me what's going on with the product mix, and give me like a 90-day sales summary.
King Industrial Supplies has primarily purchased cutting tools and industrial adhesives, making up about 70% of their expenditure. Their 90-day sales total is $12,450. Opportunities at the account include pitching high-performance lubricants and expanding into safety gear, since they've expressed interest but haven't made significant purchases in those categories. Would you like any other insights on this account?
Give me a customer report card. Send that over to my email on the way, and I'd like to take a look at that before I get there.
Could you confirm your email address, and I'll make sure to send the report card over? Would you like it sent as a text backup to ensure you get it promptly?
No, just use the email that you have on file for me.
I'll go ahead and send the customer report card to the email we have on file for you. Anything else you'd like to know about customer accounts or opportunities in the area?
No, can we do, let's jump over to do a quick tutorial on the customer side of things.
The purpose here is to demonstrate the agentic AI capabilities for customers who use the e-commerce and chat voice features of Supply Mover. What would you like to start with? Maybe getting information about an invoice or requesting account balance details?
Yeah, listen, I made an order last Friday, and that has not come in yet. I'm just trying to figure out what the tracking is on that.
Can you reference the invoice number or the date range for your order last Friday so I can pull up the tracking information?
I don't have the invoice, but late last week sometime, I think, is when that order went out.
I found an order from last Friday under invoice number 56832. It's for 5 items totaling $2,375. The tracking shows it's in transit with an expected delivery date of tomorrow. Is there anything else you'd like to know about this order?
Yeah, can you put a note on file to have my rep give me a call?
Absolutely. Can you confirm the note you'd like placed on the file or specify any additional details for your rep?
Yeah, I'd like to get a discount on this. That's going to be late.
I'll note that you'd like to discuss a discount due to a delayed delivery. I've placed this on file and will ensure your rep reaches out. Anything else I can assist with?
Yeah, can you check my balance right now?
Sure thing. Your current balance is $3,150. Would you like to make a payment on the account?
What is that made up of? How many invoices is that?
The balance consists of 3 invoices. The details are as follows. Invoice 42765 for $950, invoice 56832 for $2,375, and invoice 34290 for $375. Is there anything you'd like to do regarding these invoices?
Are any of those due yet?
Invoice 42765 is due tomorrow, while invoices 56832 and 34290 are due in 14 days. Would you like to make a payment on any of these?
No, I'll wait.
All right. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, tell me a little bit more about this supply mover thing.
Supply Mover offers a fully complete sales and e-commerce solution with AI voice agents. The system excels in sales prospecting and customer care and also includes live sales coaching with performance monitoring and data analysis for your live sales data. Advanced sales features include risk prediction, forecasting, order recommendations, and more. And we integrate with many popular systems like QuickBooks, NetSuite, and Sage. Would you like to learn more or see if we can schedule a time with Ryan Carroll to walk you through everything?
I don't know if I'm ready to meet this Ryan Carroll guy. Who's he?
Ryan Carroll is one of our experts here. He's very knowledgeable about our system and can provide a comprehensive walkthrough of all the features and how they can benefit your business. Does setting up a time with him sound good to you?
I'm not ready for that yet.
Not a problem. Would you like me to send some more information to review on your own time?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Would you like...
Okay, I'm going to cut it off early. You guys get the idea? Okay, so what you've got to know about this type of technology is it is very good at a lot. And you can really get very clever with it. What we recommend is creating recipes, okay, for how you're going to use this type of technology. So this is where I'm going to just kind of leave the shameless plug of what we do and talk a little bit more about, if I can figure out how to share this. I'm going to share this window here. Okay. I'm going to just show you very briefly one little part of our platform. And it's one of the newer parts of the platform. What everyone wants to do right now is they want to have a lot of different agents that are running, doing a lot of different stuff. They have no idea what that means. They think that they've got to figure out how to program, or they think that they've got to get a consultant, or they think that they've got to get their data in a certain, you hear that, there's actually quite a few vendors here that are saying, you got to get your data ready. If your data's not ready, then you can't do anything. Actually, your data's sitting in your ERP right now. Your data's all right there. Your data, for the most part, is all sitting, it's just not, it's sitting dead at rest. So that's really the point that I think people are trying to make. When you can integrate with that data and pull it into a platform that has access to a lot of these different features, you can start to think about the types of things that you can do. We do everything from, you can see a variety of these different types of things, but here's several more use cases for you to think about. Credit limit. This is something where you can go and have somebody that's getting close to limit. You can pitch them on getting an additional line. You can have the agent process all of that. You can have the agent process the paperwork as well. Safety compliance. A lot of you are in a space where you have programs that you offer that go alongside what you sell. And you have a program that folks will participate in. It could be training. It could be other different types of products. You can have your agents reaching out about that, scheduling people into those trainings, scheduling people into certain programs. Follow-ups on products that you know that are going to be needing to be replaced at certain times, especially if you're fulfilling regular service on things. You've got a product like bearings that are going to go out every 12 months, 24 months, and you want to follow up. The agent can make that call and say, hey, I know that you've got this, you ordered this product from us a little while back. Just want to check in on it. I don't know if you're ready to get another one right now, but if I'm happy to come out and take a look at it for you, right? Anything that you would have loved to have had a person making the call, but you can't afford to put that many people on the phone, or you're kind of falling down on it, that's where you want to start thinking about where you can use these things. Now, here's roughly how this works. And this is where it gets very, very fun for companies like us. This is another shameless plug, but we have a really unfair advantage because when we started our company, I was telling you back at the beginning, we integrated our platform with all of these other solutions because that's how we did business. If you wanted to use our CRM, you had to have an integration. If you wanted to use our e-commerce, you have to have an integration. That same integration now brings on AI agents. You don't have to use our CRM. You don't have to use our e-commerce. But if you don't have AI agents, you want to use AI agents, then you can bring them online, and it's the same integration that we always do. So these are tried and true things that we've done for, essentially for many years. Here's what ultimately you're allowed to do, though. Basically, and I'm going to pull up another screen over here. Okay. You can have as many different types of tools, what they call tools. These are digital tools now. These are like recipe instruction sheets, okay, for systems that talk to each other. So things like paying an invoice is one, bless you. Checking in on a quote might be one. Looking up a customer, trying to do a geography-based search. There's a variety of different types of things that you can have. The tool definitions is something we maintain. We have hundreds and hundreds of these tool definitions that will allow you to do just about anything you can imagine. Every day, our customers are saying things like, hey, I wish it would do this. And then we put that on the list and we prioritize those things and we add more tools. What the tools allow us to do is we can hook those tools to agents. And then those agents can be then published in a variety of ways. As you saw a little bit ago, I did that call from my computer, right? And that was so I could give you the voice overhead. That same call can be tied into a phone number.
Speaking, I can help you with our product, or if you'd like to try out our agentic agents.
Right, so any of the agents can be tied in with a phone. They can make outbound calls. So you have a lot of different ways that they can be integrated in with your platform, and then you can offer them in different ways. The other thing that you can do is embed them as a widget on your websites. So when you go and test our websites with these things later on during the conference, you'll see that you can go to the website and you can actually interact with that same agent, and it's just a web-based platform that allows us to do that, right? So it's all web-based cloud technology, and you can pretty much put it wherever you want, and it can do just about anything. The beauty of, and this is like the shameless plug of this for me, is that the cheat code we have is we have a lot of the recipes already. And that is a very big cheat code because when you don't have that, you spend a lot of money building each of the recipes, right? So I'll describe one of them to you just so that you can have a basic understanding of what's going on within these agents, right? So I'm going to just open one up. This is actually the agent that we use for ourselves, okay? If you're familiar with this type of technology, you can put a configuration together that essentially tells it exactly what to do. What is it going to say when it picks up the phone, or what is it going to say when it reaches out to the customer? What are all the call handling instructions? There's a series of dialogue and essentially what looks a lot like a script. If you've done sales or if you've done development with teams, it looks a lot like a script that you would give those. But then you have to say things that they should say and things that they shouldn't say and this sort of thing, right? So you're defining all of that. Then you're giving it tools that has access to. So if it's a payment handling widget, for example, so it's going to make calls and try and collect payment, it has to be able to make the payment. So what does that mean? It has to be able to look up the balance. It has to know when that's due, right? I asked, well, that's not my balance, right? Oh, no, I forgot about that invoice. So it's got to be able to tell me what the invoices are, what's outstanding on each one, right? So it needs to know that. It needs to know how to validate that I am me. So it has to have a customer lookup. When you really get into it, every one of these has multiple tools that it's using. at its disposal, and then it can actually perform those actions. So a simple thing like making a payment actually requires a lot of different interfacing, right? Even making the payment, your ERP probably wants to know that the payment was done, right? So it helps to have that integration, like a two-way basis that we've had for many years, because all those things are done already. We had to have that when you used our CRM. We had to have that when you used our e-commerce. So a lot of those integrations that have already been done and kind of battle tested and tried and true over many years, we're now applying just to a new technology. So with that in mind, I want to pause. I've got a little bit of extra time here, and I want to just take any questions that you might have about agents in general, because you might not, and again, you don't have to buy our software. We do a great job in distribution. We're a distribution-specific tool. That's our shameless plug. But we're technologists. Our company's run by computer scientists. We're not sales guys. I like to sell. I like to help people, but I'm a computer scientist by trade. I went to school for that. I've done engineering work for most of my career. I love that kind of stuff. I'm happy to help you guys out with anything that you have. So one thing before we move on, like what departments are you guys in? Are you guys in, is it like, raise your hand if you're in sales? And then what's the rest of you? Is it purchasing? Is it ops? What is it? Operations? Executive teams? Leadership? IT? Okay. And data systems. Okay. Awesome. All right. Who's got questions?
Is everything you showed limited to a verbal, like audio type of interaction, or can you piggyback on it with a chat bot or email even, or anything like that?
This technology behind the scenes is an integration with an LLM and an integration with a voice provider, right? So there's many different, you guys have seen all the different, text-to-speech and speech-to-text providers. So we're using several of those, and then we're using, you can use really any, you can configure to use any LLM that you like. So in order for having speed, which for verbal, your conversation, you don't think about this, but when you're having a basic conversation with someone and they like pause for half a second, that's weird. And then you're just like, is he okay? Like, so in order to have that like be really fast, the LLM has to respond fast. So there's turbo models that they all offer. OpenAI has them. During this demo, we were using the one from Claude, 3.5 Haiku, but we've used OpenAI 4.1, mini, or you can use like Gemini 2.5 Flash. There's a bunch of different options there. But the product is configured to allow you to kind of choose your own adventure there to some extent. We have some that we know work really well for certain things. But to answer your question, when all of this technology is working over voice, it's actually text before it's voice. So it is chat also. But I don't show you chat because that was 4 years ago technology.
First of all, congratulations. Looks super compelling. Definitely interesting.
Thank you.
Chris, so I live in an OKR KPI driven organization. Do you have what does it look like? How do I show success with this thing, man?
Well, here's the thing. The technology is new, right? So is there a way to say, what I can go off of is what my customers are telling me, okay? We have customers now, and I'm not advocating that you get this so that you can lay off your teams, okay? You could do that, but I don't think that you should necessarily do that, okay? Actually, I think what's happening a lot of times right now is you have a veteran workforce who has a work ethic like no one else, right? Very difficult to replace. And when they go into their later years and they want to retire, the backfilling is very difficult, right? So you're wanting to have something that's going to help these younger team members to come on and get better. And they also want the technology. And quite frankly, it doesn't matter old or young, new or experienced in terms of the rep. Nobody wants to have to make the calls all day where they're leaving messages 80% of the time, et cetera. So where we're seeing the highest amount of value here is taking away the busy work.
Got it. You went much deeper than I thought. I was just wondering if there was a dashboard for any one of these things in terms of like.
Absolutely. I mean, there's basically, okay. I will give you like.
Conversion, NPS.
Yeah. I want to give you. What I'll do, because I'm going to run out of time on it. We've got dashboards for the conversation list. I can pull up, like, for example, calls. I don't want to get too far into this, but I can pull up calls. I can pull up the message history. So some of the test calls that we've done, reports, there's graphs, there's a number of different things. One of the things that we're actually working on right now too is pulling up so that you can understand any agent that you create, how did it do sentiment wise, positive or negative on a percentage basis? Yeah, this is where people are like, okay, well, I want to know. They want to make tweaks to the agent and they want to know if they had a measurable difference, in the script and things like that too. So kind of like you would want to know for your personnel.
You answered it. I was going to ask about if you could see, basically, if you could go back and review the messages and see how they went, and if something went wrong or if it needed to be escalated, could we tie that in with somebody else within the organization that is already aligned with who that is? You know what I mean? Accounts payable, accounts receivable, that kind of stuff, getting it to the person when something goes wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And then I don't tend to get too much into this, but the system itself, and in my demo environment, I'm not set up as a salesperson. I don't have any of the data, but the system itself has a number of different configurable dashboards. You can track goals and KPIs for the people. You can track goals and KPIs for the agents. It's got all the other things that we don't talk about, like it does CRM, and it's a really advanced CRM. It's not like a basic, has like 10 things going on. It has like probably 900 things, and I talk about CRM, and nobody cares about CRM. So it's like, okay. But it has a CRM. So, what we like to do too is if you have those needs, then you can use those things. And we don't, we're not going to lose sleep if you choose to use one and not another or whatever. So
I think you used AI to read your mind to preemptively answer that question. Somebody had a question over here. Anybody else have a question?
Hey, Chris.
I remember you from last year, buddy. How you been?
Yeah, good. Great. Things are going well. Thank you. I wanted to ask you around like customer adoption with some of these and talking to AI. So I think a lot of us have customer groups that are on the older side and more conservative and less technology adept. And when they're chatting with a chatbot, they can see powered by AI. So they're going to have a little more leniency for hallucinations or anything. Do you have any thoughts around best practices when it's over the phone so that the person understands they're talking to an AI, or you recommend that you don't disclose that so quickly, as well as like escalation was a question I had also, and how you can help a customer quickly get out of the loop if they're getting frustrated by the AI?
I actually did a video on this like 6 months ago or so, and someone was asking me, I think it was Ian. So we were on one of our calls for DSG, and he's like, where do you see this being used? And I was like, I'm one of those people who gets really annoyed when I call into a company and I know I'm talking to a bot. And normally the annoyance is, I don't think it's going to be very capable. I think a person's going to be able to help me faster, and I've got a unique need that no one else has, right? So what we're finding is that a lot of these people will have a conversation with a bot, and number one, they won't realize it's a bot. And that's a real big step up. They won't realize it's a bot because it's very capable and because it's very conversational. So you have this situation where it's like, okay, I kind of got the help I needed and I got it like really fast. But best practices, I would say you use it. There's a couple things that I've seen being used for this that I don't recommend. Okay. And I'll give you a couple examples. If your idea is that you want this to handle all of your ordering for you, I think that's a mistake in a lot of ways. And it has to do with the fact that the product knowledge is very difficult to pass on to the AI. Okay, so in one of the demos I recently saw from a competing platform, they were having it take calls for orders for basically, let's say they were widgets, okay? It was actually a kitchen cabinets. So the guy's like, okay, I'm looking for a kitchen cabinet. Oh yeah, what kind of cabinets are you looking for? This is not a conversation I want to navigate with AI. And it was pausing, it was looking stuff up, 3-5 seconds delay. Oh yeah, I've got white cabinets and I'm just throwing random numbers at you. There was no way for it to understand the data it was looking at. So the key is you have to be capable of having good data in your platform that the system can look at, that it can understand and translate in a human way back to the customer. And if it can't do that, then you can't use it in that use case. So that's probably the best way I could really describe it to you, because it'll be an exercise in frustration. If you get customers on the phone, what I like to do is use it to open doors, okay? We have a variety of different customers across different types of use cases, okay? So they'd be industrial, pharma, food and beverage, et cetera. One of our customers is one of the largest Chinese food sellers to Chinese restaurants. They got like 15,000 customers. They sell 25,000 plus SKUs. They distribute all over the country, right? They run into a lot of challenges. And one of the things that they do is they get in this habit of just selling product to all of their current customers and not worrying about growing, okay? Which is not helping like they're a publicly traded company. It's not helping their numbers, right? And so like at the leadership table, they like to have these conversations like, what are we going to do? Da, da, da. So they started visiting the warehouses and the distribution centers and talking to people. Hey, what's going on here? And what ended up happening was they found out there was one center that was growing like a weed. And the reason it was growing was that center had a behavior where they were doing outreach within their area. And they found out that they could take that same model and then apply it on the other facilities. But they don't have the personnel yet, right? So they got to ramp up sales. They got to do all this kind of stuff. What we're able to do for a company like that in this space, or what they should do, regardless if we existed, is do outreach to all the local communities around where they deliver, right? And just find out who's in that area, who's interested in having a conversation. Hey, I'm in the area. I service your area. Is this something you guys would be interested in? I've got all these products. I've got a promo going right now. I can get you in on. Do you want access to that? That conversation can happen with an agent. And you're like, you would not know that, right? The other thing is the agent is multilingual. I didn't even cover that, but you can actually have a conversation with these agents where the agent can, I'm not going to get into it right now, but you can start it, it'll start in English, and then you can say like, est-ce que vous parlez français? And you can switch over and it'll be like, oh yes, I do say, and it'll start speaking in French, and it'll speak in Spanish. And then you can come back halfway through the conversation and it will have the entire context well understood. So you can document that for an American agent. So there's some really compelling use cases because the particular customer I was just talking about, most of their customers are native Chinese speakers, right? And they want to grow their staff over here, but they don't have all the personnel. So they got to hire a bunch of Chinese speaking agents. Well, they could just have a Chinese speaking agent reach out over voice and then have all the outside sales reps or the drivers stop by and deliver things. So it really changes the way in which you can solve problems.
All right, we are at time. So if you'd like to set up some one-on-one speed dating, there is a sheet on the table outside. Please sign up. And if you could fill out the feedback, the session feedback questionnaires, I would appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Let's give them a hand.